Hey gang, DVD Collector back in the movie room, and welcome back to another random armchair review. Today we are going to talk about a film that I found at the pawn shop, and it was just one of those blind buy, I see who's in it, piques my interest, flip over, I read the back, that sounds good, bring it home, watch it. Sometimes I feel like I've been kicked in the nuts. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I'm really glad I bought that. Now this is one that I really glad I bought that. We're starring Jodie Foster, young Jodie Foster. This is 1976. Martin Sheen and, I forget his first name, Scott Jacoby, who happens to be, as soon as he popped up on the screen, I was like, oh my God, that's Bad Ronald. And that's where he comes from. If you don't know the film Bad Ronald, it is I believe, a made-for-TV movie that is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the low-budget, like I said, I'm almost 100% sure it's made for TV. I bought it from the Warner Brothers Archives website because it's just, I don't know if you can't find it anywhere, but I heard everybody talk about it at one time, and, well, kind of the underground indie horror groups talk about this film, and so I went and found it and was absolutely amazed by it. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. Maybe we will later. But anyway, the film we're talking about today is The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane, a very lengthy title, starring a young 13-year-old Jodie Foster. Now, my first thoughts of this movie when I seen it sitting there was, wow, it's a young Jodie Foster. I like a lot of Jodie Foster stuff from, about Taxi Driver to maybe the mid-late 80s. The current Jodie Foster kind of character, Silence of the Lamb is about it for me. Everybody else is just, I don't know. The one thing that I was disappointed in this film, and it cleared it all up when I read about it. I watched it, then I went on different places and read about the film, was how stiff she was acting. That's one of the only things that bothered me, is why is she so, she's been acting at this point for a while. Why is this stiff? And then I went on IMDb and stuff like that and read up, and read a little bit of an insert from her saying that this is not one of her favorite films, and it's hard to put out a great performance for a bad film. There was some stuff about the director wanted more skin than she was willing to show at 13. So, there's a lot of things that were read about this. I don't agree with her 100% about being a bad film, because it's not. It does have flaws, just like any other film out there. But for a just kind of a low budget, bad kid, horrorish, mystery type film, it's excellent. Like I said, it came out in 1976, sorry, and it's it's an hour and a half long. Couple things that I didn't really understand in the film. First off, this is about a girl who lives on her own. The community, this takes place in one house. It takes place in a couple different spots, like once at a gas station, once at a library, stuff like that. But 99% of the film, it takes place in this house. She lives there with her supposedly father, who doesn't exist. And she runs a normal life. She has money. She takes care of the bills. She takes care of food. She takes care of all this stuff as a 13-year-old girl. So that sets up for the story. Now, everybody that comes over wants to see, hey, where's your dad? How's your dad? He's always in New York, or he's can't be disturbed while he's working, or things like that. People come in and out of the thing. Kind of really feels like a play. It could have came from a play. That's the vibe I was getting. But I went up and I read, and I was like, where is it? Source material is a novel. So I was wrong there, but it does. Have you ever seen the film Bad Seed? comes from a play, and it had that same kind of feeling coming from it. But I was wrong in this instance, and that is what it is. But we have a police officer, the bitchy landlady, the pervert landlady's son, and the cripple kid who ends up being a romantic part in the film. And now, granted that she's 13 years old, this is a little weird when you're like, huh, are you, okay, but it doesn't focus on that. Most of the sexuality in this film focuses from the pervert who played by Martin Sheen, by the way, who does a really good creepy. But anyway, that's where the sexuality comes from in the film. Other than that, it's just her trying to cover her tracks. So I'm going to leave you with that. Okay, you guys can watch the story yourself. I gave you, what's going on. There's the plot, and then I'll leave you with, what happens. The couple things that bugged me, and one of them is just a personal thing. The music is horrific. The music is, like I said, mid to late 1970s TV music. It's that kind of something you would see on the Brady Bunch or something like that. It's got some really bad music in it. Especially there's a kind of a montage in the middle that has really shitty music. The other thing is that the character played by Scott Jacoby, the love interest, he plays he's a teenage kid that does magic shows for kids' birthdays and stuff, and befriends Jodie Foster. I really don't see why he's there. There's to bring out the human side of her is, to me, totally irrelevant in this film. If she is just survival of the fittest, that's all this is. She needs to keep living. We don't need to give her a weak spot. Giving her the weak spot is, later down the lane, or later down the road, is going to get her confused, messed up, and caught. Which a lot of times that's why they throw that in there. I think this film was very, very smooth, very well shot, but the storyline was so smooth that I think you could have done away with him. I think you could have either kept him out entirely, or he caught wind and you do away with him. That's the two ways to deal with this character. How they dealt with it is that he befriended her and he becomes an accomplice, But she is not your typical bad vibed kid. I mean, you wouldn't know. She's not emotionless. She's not overly mean to certain people. She's kind of a smartass. But she comes off as very, very, very intelligent. And that is due to, she's done all this stuff on her own. And now she's got to fend for herself. So, like I said, the film is shot very well. Jodie's performance is stiff. She's wearing a wig, and it bugged me the entire time. And I didn't even know it was a wig. I read up on it later that, in trivia about the film, she wore a wig at the time. Her hair was much shorter. And, and I was like, well, there you go. It just irritated the shit out of me, wearing a wig. But anyway, there's a couple bad things about the film, but overall I really enjoyed it. Will I watch it again? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it's got me wanting to watch Bad Ronald. So, those bad kid movies, Bad Seed is what I like to use, but it's actually name of a film, are very, very interesting. So, check it out. I accidentally stumbled on it. I don't know if you can find it online. Netflix, I really doubt, has this. This is one of those that you're just going to have to find. I don't know if Amazon has it. I've literally had this about a week, and just happened to, I was going to go grab a horror movie today, and I had a stack of films that I hadn't done anything with yet, and I grabbed them, and I had bought this and laid it on top of there, and that's how I got it. So you never know what kind of gems you're going to find. So until next time, guys, that's another random review, and I'll see you later.